we've done the Four Nations face-off. I'm going to quickly go through some hypothetical rosters here. Now, obviously, with everything going on, in the world, Team Russia not invited to be part of. They could have easily made it a Five Nations face-off tournament. You still get the alliteration there. No Five Nations face-off. But let's take a look at what the Team Russia would look like. Now, I only used NHL players. I'm sure there's KHL players that would find their way into this roster, but I decided to keep it all Russia here. So all NHL players from Russia. Now, you talk about the goaltenders, Shesterkin, Vasilevsky, Bobrovsky. Ilya Sorokin gets left off here. You could make it with Sorokin, Demko, like Canada would jump at both of those guys right now. And then you look at the blue line: Mikhail Sergachev, Dmitry Orlov, Nikita Zadorov, Vladislav Gavrikov, Ivan Provorov, Romanov on the Islanders, Mintyukov with the Ducks. Then up front, not very strong down the middle. That's why I got a guy like Yakov Trent in there to kind of operate with a shutdown. But you still got Malkin, you got Buchnevich, Nemesnikov, and of course Ovechkin, Kucherov, Kaprizov, Panarin, Svechnikov, Nichushkin, Tarasenko, Barbashev, and I have Mishkov on the team. There's a couple other directions I could have gone there, but let's get the young stud out there. Why not?
Yeah, you're right. Can somebody get Sorokin a Canadian passport just for this tournament? That is wild. That is again another abundance of riches here for what could have been a Team Russia team. That's you're looking at Vasilevsky as a future Hall of Fame goalie. Shesterkin could possibly be the highest paid goalie ever. And Bobrovsky coming off a Stanley Cup and he may not see the ice. That's wild. Defensively, they're fine. It's good. But again, that offensive group, man, Ovi on one side, Panarin on the other, Kucherov and Kaprizov also, making passes and generating stuff. Svechnikov and Nichushkin, those are two big bodies as well. I mean, there's a lot of skill on that ice, though. That it is yes, because of everything happening in the world. It's unfortunate we can't see the Russians, but that is a very good team. There is a lot of skill there.
And that's just NHLers. Like I said, there's probably a couple of NHL guys that belong here that aren't even on the roster.
Sure, you could have probably invited Evgeny Kuznetsov over, play maybe on that fourth line somewhere or something. But that is, just having Kucherov, Kaprizov, Panarin, and Ovechkin on the ice at once would be, that would be quite the way to go.
They would probably, like you said, because that's a lot of size on that third line there for sure. And heck, you can even Barbashev is not a small guy either. Tarasenko. Tarasenko it doesn't necessarily play on a fourth line. Look, that is quite a roster there, and it's a shame we don't get to see that compete because they would. All right, so let's to rank rosters here. Russia would be in that tier with Sweden, United States, and Canada, right? Obviously they're over Finland, but they're not between those tiers. They are just as much in that tier as anybody else.
100%. I think this team is better than whatever Finland can put on the ice.
It's better than Finland.
Yeah, I think it's right there with the Swedes.
Yeah,
I think it's right there with them. It's probably close. I still think maybe a notch below Canada and the United States, just because Russia doesn't have that depth down the middle. Their defensive group is, it's doable. But yeah, that's a lot. The Russians on the power play would be something to watch. There's a ton of skill there. So maybe one day, maybe the Olympics. Maybe we see them at the Olympics.
Maybe we get it there. Now that's Team Russia for you. Why don't we take a look? So there's plenty of talent in places like Germany, Switzerland, the Czech Republic that are just entirely left out here. So I decided we'll do the Team Europe concept that we had from the old World Cup of Hockey there. And there's up on the screen. We decided to recycle the logo as well. Goaltending, not so great. Lucas Dostal, Elvis Merzlikins, who's playing pretty well, but still. And David Riddick, based on the way he's playing for the Kings, while Darcy Kemper was hurt, but he has returned. Not great goaltending there. Looking at the blue line, it's kind of like a top pairing, and then the cliff kind of comes off after. They're not a terrible pairing, but not a lot to write home about there. Roman Josi, Philip Hronek, Ferrari from the Capitals, Sider, Gudis, Siegenthaler, and J.J. Moser. And then you look up front, that's a stacked top line: Leon Draisaitl, Tim Stützle, and David Pastrnak. Nico Hischier, Timo Meyer, Martin Necas on the second line. Fiala, Kopitar, Ehlers on the third line. Hurdle, Palat, Zaka, and then I put Pius Suter in there. There's a lot of ways you could have gone for that last forward spot, but figure have like a jack of Swiss Army knife, jack of all trades kind of guy there. But that's the blue line and the goaltending are weak, but the forward group is right there with a lot of the other countries.
Yeah, it's definitely an abundance there when you have Draisaitl, Hischier, and Kopitar down the middle. Some of the best two-way forwards in the NHL. David Pastrnak can score. Marty Necas is apparently elite now, so there's that. That's a solid top nine. I don't know about that fourth line, but that's a solid top nine. Again, probably not going out there and dominating opposing teams offensively, but definitely you could roll all three of those lines out there, and you would get some success. Defensively, yes, Roman Josi, Filip Hronek, they probably eat up most of the minutes, but you got five other guys there who are sound defensively. Maurice Seider there, Radko Gudas, Farivalli, Siegenthaler. Those are guys that you need to defend, block shots, and do all the work because you got to protect the goalies. Which I guess Dostal would start. And the good news is like all three of the, maybe not Ritters, but Dostal and Merzlikins are used to getting absolutely bombarded most nights. So like it wouldn't change anything if they came here and had to face a whole bunch of shots. So that's a good thing. But that a hypothetical Team Europe like this would be very good. I think they would be maybe a notch, just one, like a little bit over the Finns. I really don't think the Finns have a great team to compete. Below the Russians, though.
Of course.
Below the Russians. Russians, that's a lot of skill there. Just because of the goaltending. Again, man, nothing wrong with Team Finland. I just think they're missing some gas.
No, I would agree. I probably, the blue line is probably slightly better with Finland. The goaltending, if Saros is playing well, is better. But that forward group for Team Europe, like you said, like Draisaitl, Hischier, Kopitar, Hurdle down the middle. Have fun. Have fun against those four. It's not going to be easy in the draw. It's not going to be easy with those guys playing 200 feet. A lot of countries represented here too. So Germany, Switzerland, the Czech Republic are, make up the bulk of it. But you do have Slovenia with Kopitar, Slovakia down there on the blue line. You also have Denmark with Ehlers. You have Latvia with Merzlikins. So yeah, it's a hodgepodge of all of Europe. A lot of Europe is represented here. No Norway. If Zuccarello wasn't on LTIR, maybe I throw Zook in there. You get a little Norwegian action. But great group of forwards there.
There's a lot of possible Hall of Famers down the middle there. That's. Whew.
Yeah, pretty good team there. Now there was a team North America and the World Cup was 23 and under. I didn't limit it to just North America. I just did a whole 23 and under team across the board. And as you can see, because they're babies, a little baby rattle for the logo there, because that's these guys are all 23 and under. Goaltending, might be in better shape than the team we just talked about. Dustin Wolf, Artur Shilovs, and Yaroslav Askarov there would be your netminders for 23 and under on the blue line. Yeah, there's still some good stuff there. Jake Sanderson, Thomas Harley, Owen Power, Lane Hudson, Hughes, Brant Clark, and Riker Evans has been playing well with Seattle before he just got hurt. And then you look at the forward group there. You got Connor Bedard. Thank you for being snubbed so he could be on this team. Macklin Celebrini, Logan Cooley, and Matty Beniers down the middle. Cole Caulfield gets his spot here, being snubbed for Team USA, along with Matthew Nyes. Figure you need a little toughness on that top line with those two tough guys. William Eklund also gets to be here, along with his teammate Macklin Celebrini, Wyatt Johnston, Logan Stankoven, Quentin Byfield, Adam Fantilli, Yuri Slavkovsky. And Dylan Cousins being the 13th forward there. So pretty good team up front, and not a bad team on the blue line either.
No, not specifically terrible. No, they would get smoked though. That's for sure. Yeah. They would, but they'd be fun to watch. There would be a lot of toe drags here. There'd be a lot of toe drags, a lot of spins and stuff like that. They would be fun to watch. Not necessarily very good, but definitely fun to watch. So that would be kind of cool. I'm sad that they didn't put something together like that. 23 and under. All those guys. The goaltending is what it is. Defense is all right. Forward group is, again, a lot of skill, but I don't know how good they'd be defensively.
Well, that's the thing. A lot of the blue liners there are guys that are developed offensively, but still learning some more about the defensive game there. That's why, and that's kind of why, like, Luke Hughes is better than a third pairing defenseman, but I was just trying to balance out the skill on those three pairings there. So yeah, I mean, you like a little bit more of a defensive defenseman in that group, but and then up at forward, like you said, this is not a team that's going to try, like, they're not going to play like Finland and try and shut you down and win a close game. This is a team that's going to just try and get into a track meet and hope they outscore you.
That's it. They're going to be playing pond hockey.
I like that team though.
I do. I think it's pretty. I mean, again, they would lose, but they would be fun to watch, though.
Yeah, they'd be the lovable losers of the tournament. So you'd have them. So if we're gonna, but they're the bottom team of the 7 that we've discussed here today.
Yes, they would. I got to give Finland a little bit more credit. They would probably shut these kids down.
Yeah, they would. You'd probably get 1 or 2 sexy goals from like that group, and then that would be it.
They would probably score more than 1 Michigan goal. Like that, their offense would be driven from behind the net. They'd be trying to, turn it out. Torts would lose it. He would not be the coach of this team.
He would throw the remote at the TV. He'd be like, "I'm not watching this."
He would. You would probably have to get extra iPads for this team.